Hi. Theories of Relativity, Chapter 15, page 142. I sit in Mandy's with a cup of coffee and the wedding photograph of Grandma and Granddad on the table in front of me. I'm hoping one or both of them will make me feel normal again after my night in the factory. It settles me to see the gray blossoms, the woman fanning herself, and Grandma and Granddad in their wedding clothes. I touch the figure of Grandma with a trembling finger. Her face is fuzzy in my mind, but I remember clearly the clicking of her knitting needles and her voice telling me not to go near the well and to eat my beans. I drain my cup and use the washroom in the restaurant. I am a patron, after all, to rinse my face before I leave. The wedding photograph has planted an idea in my brain, and by the time I arrive at the library, it has taken shape. I pull on the large glass doors, but they don't budge. I try again, disbelieving. The library is always open, except on... it's Sunday. My idea is all shot to hell. Or is it? Searching through my pack, I find the flyer about the school for street kids. The school's computer lab can be used for email, school, or job searches, I read. And most important, it is open on Sundays. As I'm reading the flyer, a new theory comes to me about Twitch, but I will need to prove it. The school is in an old store like the youth center, but it has bars on the windows and a surveillance camera over the door. I smile widely for the camera and step inside. 10 computers are set along one wall. Tables and chairs stretch down the middle of the room. The opposite wall has floor-to-ceiling shelves of books and magazines. The first person I see is Mr. Crow, bouncing on the balls of his feet. It's surreal seeing him here. "Why, Dylan, I thought you'd moved," he says. "Change of plans," I reply. "You're looking dreadful." There's no disputing that. "What are you doing here?" I ask. "I help out with the school on weekends." From a room in the back, Glenn walks out. I want to leave, but my feet won't go. My idea has made them take root. "Hello, Dylan. I haven't seen you for a while," Glenn says. "What exactly is this place for?" I ask. "It's an alternative for kids who need a different kind of schooling," Glenn tells me. "Regular schools aren't for everyone. Lots of kids slip through the cracks. Here we offer those kids literacy skills, a chance to get a high school diploma, correspondence courses, and access to computers to do job searches, do up resumes. We're trying to give street kids tools to build their lives." He sounds like an advertisement. "Can I use a computer to do research?" I ask. "Sure. All we ask is that you fill out this form first." He slaps a piece of paper down on the table and pulls out a chair for me. I sit and read it over. Name, first only if you prefer. Reason for using the computer. Time you log on, time you log off. "It's to keep track of how much the computers are used," Glenn explains. "It helps to have concrete figures when you're asking for corporate support." He wanders off and begins to sort books on a shelf. I pick up a pen, fill out the form, and hand it to Mr. Crow. "We'll get you on this one," he says, pointing to a computer. "I thought this was a peer tutor setup," I say. "All these adults hovering around me is making me nervous." "It is," Mr. Crow replies. "Glenn and I are volunteer support staff. At the moment, none of our tutors are in. Glenn's company donated most of these computers and puts up the rent money." I can't help wondering why. "Well, I know you can find your own way from here," Mr. Crow says, and he leaves me alone. I use the search engine and enter the town name, Murdoch. And there it is, on a map right in front of me, Murdoch. And suddenly, I can see the farm. Granddad crossing the yard to the barn, stopping to sniff the weather, calling back to Grandma. A small face is in the window watching him. Me. I smell lemon furniture polish, fried onions, baked bread, dry grass, ripe pears, honeysuckle, and hollyhock. I've traveled back in time. Part of my brain wonders idly what Einstein thought about time travel. Did he believe in it? I do. Reluctantly, I wrench myself back to the present. I check further. Population 1,000. Primarily an agricultural area. 5.5 hours northeast of here. Bus service? No train. I go to the telephone directory website and type in my granddad's surname, Wallace. It takes me a minute to remember his first name, Edward, then the town, and there is his phone number. I think I'm going to puke. How's it going? Glenn asks. He puts a hand on my shoulder. I stiffen, and he casually removes it. Good, I say. And suddenly, I want to share this with him, with anyone. This is my grandfather's telephone number. I go back to a website, and here's where he lives. Glenn bends and looks at the screen. Murdoch. I've been there before. It's a pretty place. He straightens. So what do you want to do? At first, I think he means with the computer. Then I realize he means with the information. I don't know, I say. Do you want to call him? No. Go see him? Yes, I desperately want to see the farm, see my grandfather, be safe, but I'm scared. It's been nearly 10 years. Glenn pulls out a chair next to mine and sits. You need to take the bus, he says. I'll help you with the fare. I start to protest, but he waves it off. It's not a gift. You'll have to work it off. Think of it as an advance on your pay. Pay? What kind of work? I ask. We could use you in here. We need more peer tutors, Alex. He nods towards Mr. Crow. Says you're good with computers. You'll have to take the 3-day training course that all of our volunteers take before you start. And then you can help out in my office. That's the paying job. You'll run errands and sort mail. We'll work out all the details on paper. How much you keep for yourself, how much you pay back on your debt. And you'll have to sign it, like a contract. You can hire me, I say. You don't have to check with someone like your boss. It'll be fine, he assures me. I study the computer screen a long time. It's a commitment, and I don't like commitments, but it is a way to see my grandfather. Why would you do that? I ask. Buy a bus ticket for me. Give me a job. Because I think you're intelligent, worthwhile, and full of potential. I want to get you off the streets. His face tightens. Before something happens to you. What do you say? I gnaw at my raw thumb, brain spinning. I need to think about it.